Lucky you.
36 best
Tuned
holes in
into
golf.
Alternate Shots podcast,
Barney's Army.
where we talk about golf,
Sandy.
poker,
James Bond.
horse racing,
Double.
classic movies.
Zenyatta.
We have no script.
Down the stretch they
And
come.
we are glad you joined us.
Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.
All right, Billy. We thought it'd be a good idea to talk about what everybody's talking about today, and that's the PGA Tour and the PIF getting together. Those are the two primary parties in this deal. The LIV's going to go away, and who knows about these other tours. Let's just open it up to you. What do you think?
Me, like everybody else, is talking about it with basically no information. And the lack of information is probably the biggest key to this whole thing. Nobody wants to tell anybody what's really going on, but something must really be going on because, you know, when the PGA players all met when this first happened, they all came out of the room saying they came out with more questions than answers. To me, when guys don't want to answer questions, there's a reason for it. And I believe that both these tours, PGA and Monahan, who turned out to be very hypocritical, and the Saudis have things that they do not want us to know. And that's probably the driving factor of all the misinformation or lack of information out there. So, I'd love to have a positive take from this, but I can't get anywhere near one yet.
It might be an interesting bipartisan cause for these senators. Not that they need to add to their list. There's plenty of other things that they should fix that they started years ago and haven't gotten anywhere on. But yeah, this is complicated.
Mess up more, but the Senate, you bring the Congress in, they'll find a way to mess it up more. But the Saudis are gigantic customers of the United States. There's billions and billions and billions of dollars in weaponry and other businesses. And as Doc Volpe's grandfather said, the answer to the question is it's all about the money. Now, what's the question?
Yeah, there's some chat about whether or not the PGA Tour was financially in good shape with these new elevated events, with these elevated purses, and have they treated the sponsors right? No one's ever really answered. Honda Motors had to be a 50+ year sponsor of the PGA Tour back to the days of Jackie Gleason, right?
Yep.
Back down in Inverary or Fort Lauderdale, whatever you want to call it down there. These people were a staunch supporter. They had their reasons. They got their lawnmowers and their cars and their generators advertised, but they put up a lot of money and they put up their time and they rallied their team around it.
The mutual benefit.
Well, why did they all sudden out?
Money, but I wonder how this is going to work because the new entity is for profit, even though the PGA is going to stay nonprofit. But who are the sponsors going to contribute their sponsor dollars to, the new entity or the PGA? And if it's the new entity, which is for profit, how much of that is going to actually filter down to charities through the PGA? That's going to be up to the Saudis, how much charity money goes. So to me, this is all, there's something rotten in Denmark.
Well, let's just say, and they rattle off numbers. Let's say the PGA Tour generates, let's just say $100 million in the course of a year to charities of their 40 or so events that they hold, right? A couple of weeks ago was in Columbus, Ohio, right? There's a hospital in Florida, in Jupiter. The Nicholas hospitals are great beneficiaries, and they need that. They count on that.
Yeah, and they do good stuff for people who need it.
Ask Annika Sorensen, who took her child there. I mean, it's great that they have these places for everybody, and I wonder what's going to happen with the charities, like you said.
Yeah, and who's going to control that? And who's going to really control anything anymore? I don't understand the Saudis' desire, for lack of a better word here, but it can't be that they just love golf so much that they want to be a figure in it. It can't be that, because it was easy enough for them to just enjoy the PGA Tour if they love it. But they want to run it. There's a reason.
Well, there's leverage.
I wonder what
They think there's leverage. They think there's the same kind of leverage that there is in football outside the United States, or what we call soccer. And those teams are worth so much money and billionaires own them, right? They think the same thing is going to be created in golf. And that's just tremendous upside leverage for making money in this sport.
Do they need the money? It seems everything, the last thing they need is money. I wonder what their real intention is, because they have more money than they can count. They have more money than they can spend. They've demonstrated that. They're paying guys $200 million to play for them. They want some kind of notoriety and some kind of control, and, it's hard to believe it's for good reasons, but, again, we don't have enough information to know what they want or how it's going to run or what influence they're actually going to have on it. But when somebody like Jay Monahan turns 180 degrees on a dime, or more like a lot of dimes, you got to wonder what went on. And my first reaction was he was either threatened, blackmailed, or bribed. I don't think he's doing this for the benefit of golf. And I know I read everybody's statement included global unification. I feel like they're running for president or the Senate or something like that, and all the talking points are out there. But when you start hearing every source saying the same thing, that's not a coincidence. They got together and told everybody what can be said and what can't be said. And to me, that right away is like, no thanks.
Yeah, there's been some comparisons from the AFL and NFL, but I think that's a horse of a different color. I think football might have recognized an expansion opportunities, and we certainly know some of the
Yeah, we
families.
watched football grow in front of us, and always for the better, to some degree for the better. Sometimes the game itself in all sports gets sacrificed for the progress, like the putting a guy on second base in the 10th inning of a baseball game.
Well,
which
but
is
football,
ridiculous.
whatever, you had a number of teams in both leagues. So you had few entities, you had owners of those, right? And the owners were looking at expansion, obviously meant growing the game, growing their franchise, growing their brand, which is what a for-profit, business wants to do, whether you're Coca-Cola or the New York Giants or the Dallas Cowboys or the Las Vegas Raiders, right?
But the fans didn't suffer
No.
a lick from that.
No, you could argue the AFL fans, got to see their, Len Dawson and,
Yeah,
those
they went
guys
from the minor
flinging
leagues
it.
to the major leagues.
Yeah, you got to see, yeah, and
George Blanda.
how about 300 top professionals? Say there's 200 in the United States, 100 outside the United States in the various tours. How are you going to unite them? What's this unite business? What's this bring everybody together business?
Yeah, and even the guys at Augusta were saying that that's what golf is all about, is the unification. That's news to me. I mean, golf is a great sport. It's fun to watch. It's fun to play. It's the only sport, as I always say, that you can actually play on the same field as the pros. You can't go to Yankee Stadium and play baseball, and you can't go to Giant Stadium and throw a football around. But you can go to Winged Foot back tees and play that course the same place as Curtis Strange or anybody else has ever played from back there. Bryson DeChambeau, you're not going to play as well, but you can actually do that.
Yep.
So golf is a unique sport, and it's not about unification. It's about individual accomplishment.
Yeah. Yeah. I still say the team concept just fails me in every way. I'm not that interested in golf. There's a few European venues. I like the Scottish, the Irish. I like the Open Championship. Those bring back memories of jaunts over to, England, over to Ireland and Scotland in my mind. And I'm not alone. Millions of golfers have done that. And I think that's what's fun about it. But when you see a bunch of palm trees and these big buildings in the backdrop, not that interesting.
No, team golf, the occasion for team golf, the Ryder Cup, the President's Cup, that's a different thing.
Yeah.
Those are great. That's great format, and that's big teams. That's not 2-on-2 or 4-on-4. I don't know. How do you pick these teams? Does somebody own the teams? Am I going to be allowed to buy a team like the Yankees if only my team's going to be, 4 golfers? It's not what the sport's not designed that way. 2-on-2 match play. We all do that, and that's fun. But I don't see how that works with the pros, except occasionally as an off market format.
Well, you brought up the team thing. The one thing that's about the Ryder Cup that's just so great is the 12 people that are playing each other on both sides are doing it for no money.
For no money.
Now, let's not kid ourselves. There's a brand recognition if you're playing on a Ryder Cup team, that if you weren't on a Ryder Cup team, your brand is here. If you're on a Ryder Cup team, your brand is just elevated quite a bit.
Right, but the event was conceived not for money, not with money in mind at all. It was conceived as a really good, tense competition. And the thing in golf is unique. You don't see the Baltimore Orioles all cheer when Aaron Judge hits one 450 feet over their head. But you see every golfer in a group cheer when somebody makes a hole-in-one. There's something different about golf. There's something that no other sport has. There's a few things that no other sport have. And to try and, put these things to make them all the same, like, I don't get it. Golf is not a team sport. It's simply not a team sport.
It was kind of teamy yesterday at the Royal RBC Canadian Open, where you had, a handful or more of Canadian golfers, Adam Hadwin and Mike Weir, Corey, all those guys were there. And then, yeah, but guess what? Slowly, the European guys, came over there to support their guy. And so there was a little fun. And what was great, there was 2 very interesting things I remember about the late in the playoff is the champion holding a 70-footer.
72-foot eagle putt. Give me a break.
72-foot putt, no brainer, under pressure. And Tommy Fleetwood just smiled. It's what happens.
And Fleetwood gave him a thumbs up on his shot.
Gave him a thumbs up, gave him a hug. And, Fleetwood remains snake bit on the PGA and North American Tour.
Well, not for nothing. Fleetwood kind of did that to himself because he
did hit the 5-wood out of that lie. Holt Nost had it right. He said that lie was good enough to hit the 5-wood up and around the green, and Fleetwood's short game is good enough to get it inside of 10 feet to win the hole there.
As he had just done on a few previous holes. So
he birdied 16, he birdied 17, and everybody's birding 18, and he kind of played the anti-birdie, not that he needed to hit a 3-wood or driver. That would have gone in that meandering creek. He just had to play it in the fairway.
You lay up out of the fairway. That's, I think he got a little bit, it had to be a little bit of nerves.
By the way, it's a nasty shot. It's like hitting a shot from down below 17 East from 80 yards away up to that elevated green. You can't see the green where you're hitting it from. It's not fun. And he laid it up to the rough.
That one off.
He laid it up in the rough.
Laid it up not only in the rough, on the side of a hill.
Yeah, he was.
So he did very well to get it on the green. He did very well to save par and keep himself alive. Then he comes back to the hole and hits it in the stands on his second shot.
That's wacky because the guy was really on point until then. The other thing that was funny, I don't know if you saw it. So when the 72-footer went in, all the Canadian guys started to run, and I guess Hadwin had a bottle of champagne with him, and he was going toward the winner, and the security guy tackled him.
You could see
Big Taylor.
Taylor's caddy was hugging Taylor, and then he saw that and he broke away to go, break that up. We didn't get to see
the unaware security guard was doing his job. No pistol in pocket, thank God, or there could have been some blood.
So many people there. He singled out the wrong guy. There were probably other guys he should have stopped.
So we got a long way to go. I wonder how let's just be frank. These players, whether they're Rory McIlroy, and he only got a heads up from Jimmy Dunne apparently that morning by his own admission at 6:30 in the morning, the day of the announcement, Jimmy Dunne called him. I guess the night before he said, you available for a call tomorrow morning? He said, yeah. So I guess their tomorrow morning phone calls at 6:30. That might upset some people I know. It wouldn't upset Rory. He's probably up at 5 doing some sort of exercise. But
Wonder if
those
what he's
guys
done-
that hung tough, that spent a year or two thinking about the PGA Tour while they're trying to win tournaments, they're just going to have to do the stiff upper lip. But who do they go to? Do they have a lawyer? Do they have an agent? I'm guessing the agents are telling them, stand in line, be careful what you say, you might regret it. Let's see what happens, right? Because they know nothing.
They did that once already, though. They stood in line, they were careful what they said, they backed up this hypocritical Monahan character to the hilt. The biggest names in golf, from Tiger Woods, Jack Nicklaus, Rory McIlroy, Davis Love, they all backed him up. And then he turned on a dime, the 9/11 people. He used the 9/11 people as an excuse to defend the PGA Tour, and then turned his back on them a minute later. I find his actions disgraceful.
Yeah, well, I think, there's a lot to be said about that topic and so forth. And he's on record.
No, he even admitted he's being hypocritical. He knew he's going to be hypocritical. And I'm cynical about stuff like this, the same as I am about politics. And I'm sure he's got PR people and experts who do all their charts and spreadsheets and analytics, and they tell him 4 months, 13 days, and 7 hours, no one will remember any of this.
Yeah. Yep. So what do you think? I haven't heard too much out of Greg Norman. Do you think he's got a gag order on whatever his severance package is?
I don't think anybody likes him or what he's done, except the people who got the money out of it. I know he was in it for the money grab, because Norman, likes money. I'm not judging him. That's, God bless him. He very successful, more successful than he was in the Masters against Nick Faldo. But he probably, there were some people on the tour, Davis Love being one of them, who were not shy about how they felt about what Norman was doing. So
Yasser is now in charge of golf, with the little facts that we know. And I thought he was very well spoken,
sure,
smart, MBS, who's going to be the king, if he's not already the king of the Saudi family, didn't pick a loser to be his governor for the PIF. Guy's a smart guy.
I guess we're lucky that knucklehead over in North Korea, Little Rocket Man, doesn't like golf as much.
Then the ball would really be flying. You'd be seeing 600-yard drives if Rocket Man is in charge.
He'd be the Open champion every year.
That's right. So that begs the question, will there be, or who will be the next PGA Tour commissioner? What do you think about that?
I don't know. Is there going to really be a PGA, or is there going to be a czar? That's what the powerful people like to use. Is there going to be a czar of golf now? I mean, we discussed the whole thing about the Live Tours lawsuits, fighting monopolies, and now you can't have a more monopoly than this. There's, I don't know. I mean,
what the U.S. Senate has to say about it.
Sticks their nose in, it's going to get crazy. If they get a piece like in New York, when the government sticks their nose into the gambling, they don't know what they're doing. They just know how to pick pockets. So they'll set up bureaucracies in this somewhere along the line. And there's nothing worse in the world than a bureaucracy. So I don't know. Looks like bad news all the way around as far as my take on being a golf fan. It won't affect my game of golf, which still stinks. And it won't affect my love of Winged Foot and the great courses we get to play there. So we'll see.
Yeah, I think that's the thing that's the thing to watch is we get up, the US Open is this week. That's a big week, and it's at a beautiful place, the LA Country Club. It's going to be really interesting to get to know that course, which not many of us know very well.
Yeah.
There's YouTube
videos. Be overshadowed by this news, just like the last one was.
Well, once they get underway, I think the personalities, does Ricky Fowler bloom here? Does Fleetwood get over this disappointment and finally win a big event? He's certainly top 20 golfer. I mean, that wedge he hit into, those shots he hit into those last 2 holes in regulation, not the 18th hole,
Ridiculous, yeah.
16th, 17th. Unbelievable.
Yeah, no, he's
And he was leading putting, which is that's a good, like you and horse racing, the buyer numbers. Leading putting going to the Open is a good thing,
absolutely,
you know.
absolutely.
I think Xander Schauffele's trouble with getting it over the line is he misses too many 6 to 10 footers, where guys like
Same thing with
even
Adam Scott.
Adam Scott, Jim Furyk, I'm sure Webb Simpson when he won the Open at Olympic. I think if you go look at the putting stats, they made those putts.
Yeah,
There for par or birdie or even bogey. They made those crucial 6, 8, 10, 12, 15 footers.
Jim Furyk is. I always think of him as like, what a great job he has. He has such a great job. He's always makes money playing golf. He's always there, and he's always getting a paycheck. And for all these years, he may not be on the top of the pile, but he's there all the time.
If you take away money and you look at the top 10 finishes, guys like Jim Furyk, Tom Kite. Tom Kite didn't win a lot of tournaments, didn't win a lot of majors, finally won the Open at Pebble Beach. But those guys were grinders. They were in.
Bernard Langer seems like he's been doing it for 60 years.
And he's not slowing down.
No,
He's not slowing down. He's Gumby.
he's the ageless sports personalities I've ever seen.
So we talked to LPGA legend recently who won the US Open 3 times. And we asked her if she would take the money and go to live. What'd she say?
No, we're never in it for the money. There wasn't any money in it when she played.
Yeah.
She won $6,000 when she won the Open, and she got paid what, $3,000 to be a spokesperson for Dunlop or something like that.
Yep. I'm looking at my notes here because I can't remember. But Patty Berg, one of the classic Hall of Famers in LPGA golf, gosh, she won the Women's Western Open, which at the time was a major, 7 times.
Seven victories.
It's incredible. She won the title holder championship 7 times, 3 as an amateur.
You have to kind of wonder what's going to happen. Is the LPGA just going to stand on its own? Is it going to be associated with any of this? Because, that country does not have the same
regard
for women among other minority or people with what do you call it? Immutable traits. They had no choice about what color they were born or what sex they were born.
It's amazing because Patty Berg, clearly one of the best in the sport. What did we learn? She made $25 from Wilson Sporting Goods to do an exhibition. Yeah. And when she did an exhibition, you might as well had P.T. Barnum rolling the circus. She did it. And even when she couldn't hit the ball, she would get an exhibition going with all the current LPGA pros. They'd all show up Wednesday afternoon, and she would go from whoever you are, hit a drive straight, hit a drive fade to the next LPGA Tour, hit a hook, hit a chip shot. And she just loved doing that. She loved the game.
Susie told us that, it got her interested in golf, watching Patty Berg give a clinic, having so much fun. She'd turn her hat right to hit a slice, turn her hat left to hit a hook, and laughed all the time. And as Susie said, she looks like she's having fun. Maybe I want to try this.
That's the big question here. What's the fun quotient going to be? What's the fun meter going to be like? Quoting Billy Minardi, one of our unfortunate fellows that got hit in 9/11.
Yeah.
Used to say, let's bring the fun meter up. I'm probably paraphrasing that. Chris Mara could recall it exactly the way he said it. But where's the fun meter going to be in PGA Tour golf, in golf as a whole?
Yeah. Billy was also famous for saying when he was in the bunkers, watch out, this could go anywhere.
So I guess we have to wait. And we're not relying on the income, but we'd like to hear people's thoughts. And if somebody wants to come on who has got some inside view, some other way of thinking about this, we'll hear it, right?
Yeah, I'm completely open-minded. I'm just suspicious when something this big happens and no one's answering questions. I'm hopeful because I love golf. I hope these guys who do it for a living continue to do it for a living. I hope they don't get too affected. I do believe that they have more power than they know.
Mhm.
Unlike any other sport, you take the NFL, for instance, and it's extremely successful, but the turnover in the NFL is constant. Theoretically, you could replace every NFL player tomorrow, and you might lose some viewership for a short period of time, but it will be back up because these guys will be playing anyway. They'll field a team. You can't do that in golf. You take these top 100 golfers out of the world or top 200, you got nobody left. They're all there already. It's not like there's great college players that can fill up a PGA Tour.
Well, there's a pretty good Corn Ferry Tour, but you're right. I mean, the names that go with Scheffler and
But the talent too, because 10 years ago, there was no Danny Jones or Saquon Barkley out there. There was Peyton Manning, but he's gone. Another guy takes his place. And it happens in golf, but it just doesn't happen every 3, 4, 5, 6 years. It happens every 20 years or 25 years. These
yeah,
guys last
turnover. It's just not it's not as short a span of NFL players, 3 or 4, 5, 6 years, or whatever their life is. Right.
Exactly. Baseball's a little longer term than football. And basketball seems to be a little longer term, but it's just smaller number of people. But I don't know. Just think about it this way: if McIlroy, Dustin Johnson, the top 30 golfers, Scheffler, Rahm, if they all just retired today, which is sort of what happened in boxing years ago. Can you name the heavyweight champion anymore?
No.
25 years ago, everybody in the world knew who the heavyweight champion was. Now you don't know, because I believe they focused too much on 4 guys or 3 guys. They did it in the middleweight division when you had Roberto Duran, Sugar Ray Leonard, Marvin Hagler, and Tommy Hearns. And those guys fought till they're like 40 years old, but they didn't promote the guys underneath them, so no one knew who's a fighter anymore. That started to happen with Tiger Woods in golf, but then all these guys came along that are just great players. There's no one guy that's promoted in golf like Tiger was anymore. There's 6 or 8 guys or 10 guys.
We talked to Susie about who she'd go see in a cocktail lounge if
Yeah.
Sinatra and Palmer were there, and she said Palmer immediately. I just think that it wasn't an accident that Palmer was one of the greatest and still is, bringing in lots of revenue. But he was surrounded by Mark McCormick and other smart people and took their advice and planned out.
He was smart enough and had the personality to take their advice.
Yep. And they did do well with them. It just, to me, like there needs to be somebody and that comes along. I don't know, maybe the USGA CEO, this guy Juan, maybe maybe Tiger. Tiger Woods' days of playing competitive golf other than in the Masters are a question. He's getting his ankle done. That's going to be a long haul. He's still young enough to win. I think Tiger could win. But, you've got this guy here who's admitted to being a hypocrite. The whole thing that transpired last week to me was like, let's say you owned a dominant privately held firm and you went to the CFO and you went to the chief operating officer, said, look, private equity XYZ company wants us to buy us out and it's more money than I ever thought. What do you think? And they all have stock, they have whatever, let's do it. And the 5,000 or 10,000 other employees find out about that Thursday morning. That's what this felt like. Now, if you own a privately held firm, you're entitled to do that. You remember the days when you used your credit card to get payroll going this week and that week, and you bootstrapped it up. And now it's a very big company. It's worth $5 billion, and a private equity firm's going to give you $25 billion for it, 5 times. Yeah, that's fine. But this is not that. And this is what it felt like, though, that last week.
the 5,000 employees that find out that morning are replaceable in a private firm like that, because the guys that take the money and go, they don't need the employees anymore. That's not true here. You need the 5,000 employees here. You need the players.
Yeah.
I just hope the players, in a dream world, the players unite and start dictating themselves a little bit more of what's expected of them.
Well, they certainly didn't have representation that was apparent to me in just a week's
No,
feedback in this whole decision. And they have a policy board. It's a member organization. So we'll see what happens. But
yeah, I'm rooting
could
for
they
'em because I
unionize?
enjoy-
Maybe.
Pardon?
Could they unionize? I suppose they could.
It would be, a logical step. It would certainly be a logical step because it would force guys like Monahan to take into consideration in advance of making life-changing decisions for the group. The threat of a strike is something that businesses have to deal with. It's not always good. The unions don't always do the right thing, but it is the only protection some employees have. I think the power is abused by union heads and things like that, but it is the only recourse for some of the working world. And it prevents decisions like this being made without repercussions.
Well, I'm going to be keeping my eyes and ears open for anything that might be said by Greg Norman or Rory McIlroy. I think the rank and file is going to play golf, get to the dirt, practice, work on their putting, work on getting the ball in the fairway. This week, it's all about a major called the US Open. And a few weeks from now, to be the British Open or the Open Championship. And like you said, probably by then, this is going to be less noisy.
Yeah, by design.
Yeah. All right, Billy, this has been great.
Yep.
We'll get back at it. I think we got the 9th hole coming up. I'm not sure. We're going to do that someday. That beautiful, beautiful hole back to the clubhouse.
I just want to say to all my wolfing partners, if we can ever get together again, I'm not hypocritical. No rules will change there.
All righty. Thanks for joining us
Casper,
today.
Billy
We
Harmon,
really appreciate your
Double
feedback.
Indemnity,
And please
Arky,
subscribe to the
Two
show
Outer,
and hit the
Claude
bell
Harmon,
icon so you get notified
Movie
of
Classics,
new episodes.
Mark Gable,
Hit them
Odd
hard
Job,
and hit them off.
Best 36 Holes.